North Hill Chartered Accountants provide first-class accounting, tax, and advisory services to owner-managed businesses and individuals. If you're looking for a true finance partner, then why not book a free discovery call with us? Contact us today via our website at northhillfinance.com or call us on 033 3303 0988.
Hello and welcome to North Hill Bitesized, a series of short podcasts where we talk to small and medium-sized businesses from across the community. My name is Mark Hanrahan and I'm joined today by Stephen Hammerton, the founder and managing director of Southwark Handyman Services. There's obviously a very strong local focus and presence to the business. How did that come about?
I then was looking around and seeing what other handyman companies were about, and there was no one called Southwark Handyman.
Yeah.
Well, it's a borough. It's the second most expensive borough in the whole of London. Why don't I kind of capitalize on that and see what I could do? You've got Pimlico plumbers and such. You know, there's no Southwark Handyman. So I then kind of went round and registered the name absolutely everywhere. So concentrate on your local area or your local borough is always the best way. You know, once you've kind of got the reputation in that local area, you can then expand out because the neighbouring boroughs are going to want to have what you're offering.
Yeah.
I see it anyway.
Yeah, and I guess it's people always, because it's like any sort of, you know, personal service business, people want that reliability, word of mouth. You know, I think word of mouth, well, that is really the best advertisement. So
well, people do prefer to use local.
Yeah.
People, it's certainly in this game, people, you know, I've had clients that have hired contractors from outside of London, and then trying to get them back when there's a problem is an absolute nightmare for them. So they always prefer to use somebody that's kind of in the local area that they can call upon 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that if there is an issue, that guy's going to come back round because they live a couple of streets away or, you know, half a mile away or whatever.
Yeah. And have you found that since the pandemic that's changed at all, or people still want somebody local?
I mean, my business has grown since the pandemic, especially because we've been there when other people haven't.
Yeah.
I know quite a few companies have tried to cash in on the pandemic. Our prices haven't gone up. A few other companies have used this as a marketing thing where we haven't purposely pushed anything on social that, you know, we're open during the pandemic or anything like that. I just haven't done it. I wanted to try and reduce the amount of inquiries I was getting, so we just left everything running as is. The clients we have already, we manage about 1,400 clients. That's how many's on the books at the moment.
And do you use a CRM to manage those relationships? Or
I do, yes. Yeah, we've got a full customer resource place. So yes, we've got all that.
Okay.
We use a company called Jobber, which are based out in the US. And when they were just starting up, it was just around about the same time when my company was starting. And I wanted to kind of create something that looked more professional than a scribbled receipt or something that was just kind of half-baked that you could do on Word or Doc or whatever. So I wanted to create something that looked professional, that, you know, you can't really charge any more for it, but it kind of reassures your client that you're going to do a good job and that you're investing in your company.
In terms of moving from solopreneur to obviously having your own business, hiring staff, managing staff, how have you found that process of transition? It wasn't too bad.
It's been an absolute nightmare, if I'm honest. I initially went down the wrong route. Everything wrong that I could have done, I've done. Okay. And I've learned from it. I've kept at it. So, you know, back in the old days, I used to hire people out the pub.
Right.
That's the one thing you really shouldn't do, or your mates, or, you know, family or whatever. And I try to reduce costs that way. And you're not really saving anything because your mates will all think, oh, well, we can go home at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Well, no, that's not how it works.
No.
That has been kind of the biggest mistake I've ever made.
In terms of your involvement with the commercial sector. I'm aware you do a lot of refurbishment work there. What have you noticed around the changes since the pandemic? Because obviously there's been a lot of talk around the growing importance of working from home, less people attending the office, etc., etc.
Managing, they've got a reduced workforce that's going into the office. So they'll have so many people in one day, then next day they work from home, and then they'll have somebody another amount into the office the next day. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing to work in the office, because I'd be shooting myself in the foot. But I see why companies need to have that official presence as an office, because that is kind of their work base. I think that if everybody was working from home, it would kind of dilute that. What's the word I'm looking for? The kind of their officialdom as a company. You know, if you've got your staff all over the place, I don't see how it would continue to work. I mean, it's changing anyway. You know, it's. I don't think we're out of this pandemic by a long shot yet. Certainly with the amount of variants that's coming out and coming through. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen over the next year or two that we kind of decide on what we're finally going to do. But, you know, nobody can tell the future. You know, if we all knew what we exactly was going to do. But I know for certain that how the old way of working is pretty much gone now. That I don't think we'll ever get that back. And I don't think people in general want to go back to that.
The rising price of materials is on everybody's lips. Have you noticed that a lot? And are you seeing that come through into wages, do you think, across the sector?
Yes, materials have gone up. That's without a doubt. Clients are not as happy to pay the extra on the materials. It will be something I'll be doing in the near future, because I can't take on the workload that we've got. So the only way I can reduce that is by pushing our prices up.
So plans for the future then, are you continuing? Is there a particular type of work that you're doing at the moment that you'd like to sort of double down on, or what's for the future?
I'm trying to go more down a carbon neutral route with the company, where we are getting rid of our diesel vehicles. So I would like to go down the route of using electric, servicing local areas, which we don't need big electric vehicles for. They are expensive, and that will affect our bottom line. So I will have to kind of put our prices up to pay for this.
You get good tax breaks on that though, at the moment anyway. Yeah.
So, and also with a lot of these companies that have the offices in City of London, they have certain targets that they need to meet. And if we can supply a service that is carbon neutral or as close to it as possible, then we should be fine in kind of, they've got more opportunity to kind of work with us than not, because it is taking time for companies that are in the construction industry to become carbon neutral. And it is a big thing at the moment.
Because I guess the thing with electric vehicles, certainly outside of London, I think a lot of people, you know, they like the idea of it. The lack of access to actually service points to charge the car is quite an inhibiting factor, you know, at the moment. Yeah. I guess given where you are and the area you're servicing, I would think it's probably quite feasible. As long as you're operating within London, you could probably do it, couldn't you? Because there's quite a lot of charging points now, I think.
There are.
Boroughs, yeah.
There are, but I don't think the technology is quite there yet.
Right.
Certainly with the charging facilities that are available, they are coming in, but they are taking their time in doing it. The technology, the battery technology isn't quite there in relation to kind of working outside of London. Certainly, I mean, I'm from up in Durham, and I wouldn't want to travel from Durham to Darlington and back again in an electric vehicle. It would just be a nightmare for me at the moment. I'd be constantly watching that meter to see how far it was going down.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you for listening.